I sold 72K worth of high ticket in just 30 days. And in this video, I'm going to take you through the exact scripts, the call structures, and closing techniques that I used. And at the end of the video, I'm going to take you through the biggest mistake I see even high-level entrepreneurs and sales guys make and how to correct it. So if you want to crack some $1 million deals and become a sales savage, grab that coffee and let's lock in. For the last year, we've run a low ticket school community, but last month we set an ambitious target to relaunch our high ticket at a higher price with a proper sales strategy. So I had to build the offer, get the leads, and sell them on calls. Let's freaking go. But before we can actually sell, we need someone to sell to. So I want to touch on lead generation and pre-sale. We launched our offer for a wait list by a post on SKOOL. If you're interested in this program that's XYZ, apply here. I followed up with a beautiful personalized learn and got them onto a call. Now, if you've got a 1K, few $100 offer, then you can potentially sell in the DMs. But when you're talking 5K, 7K, 8K, 10K, you're best to jump on a call. And that's what this video is really gonna focus on. Once they're on a call, how to close them out. Even before we've got them on a call or even asked them to apply to a wait list, we've done something called a pre-sale, which is essentially blowing them away with value, be it on free content on YouTube or in our entry-level low-ticket school community. So once they actually see the offer for the high ticket, they think, okay, if the low ticket is this good, how good is this high ticket gonna be? And it really, what we're trying to do is warm up the customer as much as possible before we hop on that call. Let's dive into the sales structure. Now, a lot of okay sales guys will think if you have a beautiful smile, a firm handshake, you maybe compliment the client a little bit and you haphazardly pitch an offer, that's selling. But it's way more scientific. You don't need James Bond level charisma to be able to sell. It's very scientific, and if you just follow the script, I promise you, you'll increase your conversions because the script is pulled straight from Sam Ovens. It's got a pinch of Alex Hormoziism for good measure, someone called Patrick Dang, and it's been reworked by me and my business partner, ChatGPT. So this is the exact sales structure you want to follow. Firstly, spend a minute or two on rapport. Be bright, be confident, but most importantly, be specific. Hey, Bob, you joined us back in October 2024. How are you enjoying the group so far? What is it that you found most valuable? When they say something good, really dig into that. Really remind them they've had a great experience and really start that call off right. Be specific about the questions, not just how are you, Dave, you got a coffee. Be very specific to that person. Let them know you know who they are. Then you want to roll into the agenda. People don't want a vague, meandering call. They want to know that you are prepared, that you are competent, and that you've got an agenda mapped out. Grab their hand and walk them on a beautiful adventure. This is a 90-day paid program, and today I really want to dig into your application because it was really interesting. I want to learn a little bit more about you and your business, and most importantly, what you need support with. And at the end of the call, if we think it's a good fit, we can talk about next steps getting you involved in the program. Sound good? Then you want to really spend a lot of time on their current situation, really understanding their business. Now, 80% of a sales calls needs to be questions, 20% pitching. 80% of the sales calls need to be them talking, 20% you. Keep to them ratios. You've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Most of it is questions. You are a doctor, not a sales guys. And before you can prescribe some medicine, you need to diagnose the problem. And you can only do that by qualifying the client and asking questions. Your job is not to sell. Yours is to qualify. Are they actually a right fit for this program? Ask questions like, tell me about your business, do dynamics. How many clients you're working with at the moment? What's your lead generation strategy? What are the kind of price points that you've got at the moment? Really understand their business. Each stage gets more important than the last. I'm going to roll into talking about their goals. Get them to think big, really dream with them. Get them to actually see and visualize where they'll be in 12 months' time. So talk to me, in a year's time, where would you have to be for the last year to be a success? Now let's think tactically. What about the next 90 days? Where would you have to be for that to be a success? Get them to put a monetary value on it, which is very important because when I pitch the price at the end, we want to give you an ROI and we want to anchor it to their price point, 10K per month, 20K per month. It sounds more digestible when I'm going to give that price point at the end. So it's very important to put a monetary goal onto it. And at this point, really cleverly weaving client testimonials. I've worked with Robbie and he closed 50K worth of sales within 2 weeks. And the crazy thing is, you'll actually have a head start on Robbie. And I'd love to get you guys in touch. What I'm doing is cleverly weaving testimonials. These people are people we work with in the high ticket program that we'd get you in touch once you're in the program, right? And I'm cleverly weaving these testimonials in case studies to really cement myself as we can definitely support because we've done it for all these people. Now, this is arguably the most important aspect of the call, and that is pain. Once we've got them excited about their goals, they can taste it. They can always touch and feel and taste their goals. They want it. You need to give them a reality check. Bring them back to reality. cause pain. Like I said, you're not going to take prescription medicine for a problem that doesn't exist. There is no solution you can sell if there isn't a problem to solve. We need to cause pain and really understand what are the pain points of the client that are stopping them getting them to their goals. And really ask the same pain questions multiple times. You know, what's been holding you back from hitting your goals? What's your biggest bottlenecks? What else are you struggling with? And really dig into their pain points. Once they say something that really resonates with them, really dig into it. You know, really try and cause the pain and spend a good 10+ minutes on this section. Out of all these sections, this is the thing you want to spend the most time on. Oh, and if you want the exact scripts and templates and the exact questions to ask so you can literally just run it through on a call, it's all available in my SKOOL community below. Now we want to move on to value, and you want to make sure to cement yourself as an expert that you can actually help, but you really need to cement that you understand their pain points, their goals, so you can actually pitch an offer. And this really tees up the offer so you can knock it out of the park. But your tendency will to go into coach mode, to really actually on the call give them some advice. Only spend a minute or two in this situation because we're on sales mode, not coach mode. Your tendency will go coach mode, so try and avoid that. Ask the client, so tell me if I'm following this correctly. What you'd like to do is get some support with lead generation, have 5 or 10 conversations coming in on a week, which you close 1 or 2 of them. And in the next 90 days, if we could close 2 or 3 clients, that would be a great success. What you need support with is XYZ. Have I followed that? And because you've asked some amazing questions, you've really used that 80-20 rule, they will 1000% say, absolutely, you've followed, great. This is really teeing up the offer so you can knock it out of the park. At this point, the client will be really excited, really wanted to hear that offer. But before I do, I go 2 final questions, budget and timing. When is a good time to get started with this? And most clients will answer that right away. Yesterday, I want to actually work on my business right away. They may have a holiday coming up, really doesn't matter. I just need to confirm that they can actually make action on this right now. And secondly is budget. And a lot of people avoid doing this, but I think it's really clever. Have you got a budget set aside that you can invest in you and your business to make this happen and get it off the ground? See how I'm being clever with how I'm wording it. I'm positioning what I'm about to say, my investment and my offer, as part of their business investment. Now, everyone knows to invest in a business, to grow a business, you need to invest. You've got to speculate to accumulate. I have cleverly now positioned, have you got a budget set aside to invest in your business? I'm now part of that investment strategy. Now, once you mention price and timings, they may even be starting to ask you questions about the program. Oh, I'm not really sure about the budget because I don't know the price of this. Can you tell me more? Amazing, they're gagging. This is a good sign. Now we move on to the close, and confidence is key here. You want to put your chest up high, head up high, big, beautiful smile, and you want to close with confidence. You've asked so many questions, so at this point, you know you can support the program's right for them. Hey, based on your application and everything we've spoken about today, you'd be an amazing fit, and you'd be exactly the type of person we want in the program. Let me take you through everything, and if you say this sounds good, we can lock that place in today. Sound good? Well, this is a 90-day program. What we want to do is work with a handful of entrepreneurs to really accelerate towards their goals. You're going to get more access to the team and the coaches, but the best thing, you're going to be part of a community of entrepreneurs who are exactly where you are, and people who are 3-4 months ahead of you that you can learn from. Now, this is an investment, and I want you to think of it as such. It's $15K. But actually, we've not gone to social media or wider. We've got an offer just for the people who take action now, and that'll be $9,995, and that's for the 90-day accelerator. And you know what? We want to give you an extra 9 months access to work with you for a full 12 months. This is now the most important part of the call. You need to shut up. Literally shut your mouth. Now, you're a yapper because you're a sales guy. This is tough for you, but what separates a good sales guy and a great sales guy is the being comfortable with being uncomfortable, enjoying that silence and the awkwardness. You've got to be silent and get them to come into your frame and start asking you questions about the program. Shut up, say nothing. I've been in sales calls where the silence literally goes on for a minute or two, but it's very important they're the first one to ask questions. And I've never been in a sales call where they've gone, yep, let's sign me up right away. They will always have objections, which is where we go into the next part of the call, which is very important, objection handling. Now, this can be easy. It sounds tough, but you've really got to hold firm. There's only really 4 key questions they can ask. I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I've done something similar and it didn't work, or I've got to go ask my wife, my dog, or my magic genie. All you need to do is come up with a one-liner that separates each objection and then counters each objection. For the money thing, just isolate it. Money aside, do you see value in this program? Yeah, I do. And then ask them to say, what is it about the program you like? Great. Well, we can talk about a payment plan. I don't have the time. Absolutely. But you don't have the time to waste. We need to take action on your goals right now. And you don't have 14 hours a day to invest. No one does. But we need to make the most of the 1 or 2 hours you do. I've done something similar and it didn't work. Absolutely, you don't need more information. You need a roadmap that you can follow. And these programs didn't work, hence why you're having the conversation with me today. 4, I need to go speak to my magic genie. Absolutely, give this the consideration it needs. Can I arm you with some more knowledge so when you go into that conversation, you've got the full picture? Anything I can help you with that's unclear right now? Keep moving the conversation on to the close and what is the most important aspect of the call. You just need a sentence or two that you can counter these objections and make sure the call and the conversation keeps flowing to the most important aspect of this entire process that so many sales guys get wrong. But before I do mention that, I want to touch on what was the biggest challenge that we actually faced. It didn't become lead generation, it didn't become selling and closing, it quickly became fulfillment. I had sleepless nights thinking, how the fuck am I going to deliver on all the stuff that I actually sold? And this is the truth about business. It's a constant balancing act between selling and fulfillment. For a month, it was a sales straight. I was a savage, call after call. But this month has been more on fulfillment. And the truth is, in business, especially in a lean team like we operate, it's going to be that balancing act. Here is the biggest mistake I see sales guys make, and even high-level entrepreneurs. I say, hey, how did the sales call go with the client? It went amazing. They're really excited. Did you collect payment? No. Well, then you just had a good conversation with a random person. If you haven't collected payment, it's not a sale. You need to collect payment on the call. The difference between you making the sale or not might be that you didn't ask for the payment link. Don't send afterwards. You need to lock something in today, even if it's just a deposit, a small portion of it, because nothing kills a deal like lost momentum. I've gone on calls and I've closed within half an hour, but if I leave it long enough and it's a few days later, the momentum is completely killed and I have to go them through the whole process again, and they've come up with a million objections. They'll never be more excited to buy than right there on the conversation, as long as you've gone through this script. There's only 2 ways a sales call can end. They either buy today or they buy later. Even if they're not going to close on the call, make sure there's a follow-up booked in and make sure to minimize that time. Literally say, look, I can hold a spot for the next 24 hours, so let's connect at the same time tomorrow. And if you've got any questions in the meantime, reach out to me and the team. Sound good? Lock that in. Only 2 ends to a sale call. They either buy now or they buy later. And if you're looking to get the straightest line from 0 to 10K per month, subscribe, because that's going to be my next video. All right, see you in the next one, bros. Bye-bye.